Do you know, it's kind of weird because when I first started, I never really was a rugby fan. I was kind of a football fan. I kind of played a bit of football growing up, and I never was that good. I was either in goal or in defence, so I never was that good. One day I remember my mate who lived down the road was just like, oh, do you know what, you'd be pretty good at rugby because you're quite aggressive, and you're a lot bigger than the other kids your age. He invited me along the next day, and I kind of just went down there and had some fun really, and just kind of jumped straight into it. My mum and dad were like, yeah, go for it. And that training session, I kind of went home and I got this. They used to hand out this like old, I don't know, it was like a little mini like coconut. It was like for player of the session. They probably only gave it to me, so I went back the next week. But I got it that week, and I remember just being over the moon. And then the following week they had a tournament, and that's kind of where it all started. And I remember just playing that first tournament and kind of getting the ball, carrying, and then getting hit. And it was like, I remember looking to the sideline, looking at my dad, and my dad was just smiling at me and was like, run.
Did you have a lot of mates who play rugby union, or was it a bit different for you to go into?
No, so before I even went to rugby, I didn't have a clue about I didn't even know what rugby was at the time. And then obviously I went, as it transpired, I ended up going every week. Where I live back home is just like a little village out of the way. You have to walk at least 5 miles to get to the shops and stuff like that. So there was never really I never had loads of mates around. I went from like a school of 103 pupils to 1,800 pupils into secondary school, and that's when I kind of started playing rugby and meeting everyone else.
You picked up the ball for the first time, you started enjoying yourself. Where did that take you from there?
When I got to 16 and I was at school, I was going to leave school, and I was very undecided what I wanted to do. I just thought to myself I'll probably go into something like labouring or something like that. Like, I didn't actually have a career that I wanted to pursue.
So you're in Oakland, how did that go for you? What happened there, and how did you get picked up by Saracens?
My first year at Oakland was terrible. I was kind of I took it all for granted. I kind of just messed about, and I wasn't really going as hard as I could at the rugby kind of side of it. I started playing 3 times a week, so I was playing on a Wednesday for college for the second team / third team. And then I'd play on a Saturday for my rugby league team, and then a Sunday for Esher, which is in Surrey. I moved away from, well, I didn't move away, but I moved clubs because I wanted to pursue it when I moved away from school. I was really working hard because I knew that my mum was taking time out to just keep travelling up with me, so I kind of realised what I had, and that's kind of when I got invited by the England under-18s to go play, or to go to a camp, and then from there it kind of took off. I started training with the academy, played the academy league that year. I never even knew what a prop done at that point, but it kind of just went from there. And then I remember playing my first A-League game. It was a friendly against Cambridge Uni away, and I got a phone call the day before, and they just said, oh, we want you to come up and start. And I remember just being over the moon. At the end of that year, that's when I obviously got picked up.
So you were playing as a back row, you were playing number 8
yeah.
At that time. Then came a time where you were told maybe it was worth moving positions to prop. Tell us about that experience and some setbacks that you faced.
Yeah, so I always remember playing back row, and obviously I was happy playing back row, and everyone was happy of me playing back row. And it was the year after the 20s World Cup that I was covering back row and second row. We just had pre-season, and it was all good. I was probably a little bit behind the other back rows without even knowing. I was probably like, my fitness was a little bit behind. And I remember Guzzy, Al Sarnison, both saying, they used to joke about a lot about me becoming a prop, but they kind of just said about, we think that your career will be more successful as a prop, and the way I kind of play, it kind of suits my game down to a T. They think that it will be the best move for me. They said, obviously, Smalley said, obviously it's your choice. You've got to make the decision, speak to whoever you want, chat to people, understand what you're actually going to do. I knew that if I was going to make the move, that it was either all in or nothing, because if I went into it not really trying, then I know that I would fail. And that was the big thing. So I took time out, I spoke to old coaches from back home, spoke to family members and whatever, and just kind of explained to them what they, and heard what they had to say about it. And I just decided one day that I was like 100% I'm going to go for it. I remember coming in and speaking to Smalley and just like, I'm ready to work for it. I remember just constantly, every unit session, just learning something new. All of the props at Sarries helping me understand different roles and what I had to do and how I had to scrummage. I mean, I'm still learning stuff to this day, like Sculler's teaching me stuff. Like I watch the way Mako scrummages and I watch the way other people scrummage, and I like take parts of their game and try and help myself and adapt. And Peely's very good at it as well now. He helps me massively, and that's kind of how it all happened.
It must have been an invaluable experience to be there in Australia. What have you say that you've learned the most out of that experience and having to adapt the way you did from being moving from back row to front?
It's a tough one because I don't think there was much learning. It was more maturing. And I've obviously had conversations with people and you, and I feel like that is the biggest thing that kind of helped give me that that kind of kick up the arse. Do you know what I mean? Like I realised that I was not working as hard as I could. It took me by shock that when I first ever came to Sarries, I was given so much help where I never had that growing up, and that's kind of probably the thing that I had to kind of reevaluate myself, because I was used to not having much, or not having much, but like not being able to, not getting all the help from all the coaches and stuff like that. It was always by myself and playing loads of games of rugby league and playing union at the same time. Like little knocks and injuries, I like just playing through them because I didn't even understand what a sprained ankle was at the time, so it didn't matter. And that's what happened in Oz. Like I realised that, you know what, I'm used to this. Like I know what I'm doing here. Like I'm in my own environment. Like I know that I can do this.
How, looking back at what you've experienced, how are you feeling, ahead of this?
It's always, you're always nervous about these situations because obviously it's the first time that I'm going to be starting. I know sometimes it's almost easier coming off the bench because you can just literally, you're not expecting to get on, and you're literally within a heartbeat, they're like, okay, you're on, and then you're on. Where this is like, I know that I'm starting, so there's more of a build up to it. I'm excited, but I know what I've got to do. I'm not going to change anything, and because as soon as I start changing anything, that's when things go wrong, or not go wrong. That's when different things happen. And I know that if I just stick by what I've been doing and keep on top of things that I know I have been keeping on top of, and just kind of working unbelievably hard, I think the nerves that I've got are probably more excitement than anything, because it's always good. And especially Worcester away is when we played the A-League final and we won it. So it's a good place for me to go. I'm happy, like it's a happy place for me because I know we've won there before. So for me, it's all about just knowing my role and doing my stuff well. So I'm excited.
So you're going to be, potentially out there, obviously definitely with Narrow and maybe Nick Tompkins as well, guys that you came through the academy with, guys you know very well, played, academy games, and how special is that going to be for you and to actually be there in Premiership rugby with those guys?
It's going to be unreal. So the last time I played at Worcester was with Marrow in the A-League final, and he was captain. So for me to go back to Worcester to start my first game, I'm going against B, obviously, who I was in the academy with. It's crazy. Like, it's going to be an unreal experience, and I'm really excited just to get out there and kind of prove people wrong. And that's kind of what I've just been trying to do this season, and hopefully I can keep doing it, just prove people wrong and keep going.